As we move along, I now have the honor of presenting our guest speaker for this evening. With almost 21 years of radio and television experience, working with some of the leading private sector companies, state agency and party promoters in Trinidad and Tobago to provide voice-over work, audio production and event hosting, birth name of Kenneton Simmons, but widely known as Ken the Gentleman Simmons, is undoubtedly one of the most reputable and requested media professionals in Trinidad and Tobago. He is presently a radio and television personality with the Nation station via the CT 105 FM and CMC3 television of Guardian Media Limited. He's also an entrepreneur with two businesses, namely a media production company called 2K Media and Communications and a fitness company called Brit Fit Limited. Over the years, developing a love and passion for fitness, he has represented Trinidad and Tobago in 2013 and 2014 in the sport of bodybuilding in the men's physique category at the Central American and Caribbean Bodybuilding and Fitness Championships. Ken's life story has inspired both young and old that nothing is impossible once we believe in God, believe in ourselves, and fully understand the gifts and talents to create a meaningful and fulfilled life. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you your guest speaker, Mr. Ken Simmons.
Thank you very much. I smiled when you pronounced my name correctly. Going to school, I was teased. They used to call me a skeleton, all kind of thing. But thank you so very much. All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
It is a pleasure to be given the opportunity to speak today on a subject that is really dear to my heart. And I want to thank Ms. Wilshire and, of course, the entire team for the opportunity. I don't take it for granted, especially, in forums like these, especially the nature of the topic, because generally we cannot enjoy the fruits of our labor if we don't have good health. So they've allotted me 10 to 15 minutes. Hopefully I'll be shorter than that, because I understand how the human mind works. And we live in a world that, there are a lot of things vying for our attention. But I guarantee you, if you give me your undivided attention for the next few minutes, I'm going to say a few things that can have a meaningful impact in your life as much as it had an impact on mine. Now, today my discourse, which I was asked to deliver, is taking personal responsibility for your health and fitness. I want to start off by a book that I've read that greatly impacted my life. He wrote it many years ago. Actually, the book was released in 1905. The author, James Allen. A small book. You all know that book? As a man thinketh. You all know that book? That book has impacted my life greatly. And I want to read an excerpt from that book before I go into my discourse. This will be the springboard for what I have to speak on today. So part of all of my training, putting my body through the process, having a fitness company, training people, coaching people to get fit, this is the fundamental issue that I think most of us miss. Because the internet and seminars are flooded with information on the exercise to do and what to eat. But this is the foundation of fitness. Now, this particular book, as I mentioned, it was released in 1903 from James Allen. Of course, he was a well-known philosopher. He was regarded as one of the pioneers of self-help books. And this particular book, As a Man Thinketh, is a book that is regarded the best book on the power and right application of thought. So chapter 3 of the book speaks about the effect of thought on health and body. So let me read the excerpt. It says, the body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operation of the mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. At the bidding of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. At the command of glad and beautiful thoughts, it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. And what we miss in the health and wellness industry, apart from everybody saying, you know what, do this for 17 days and you're going to lose weight and take this pill and all that, there is a great connection between our thoughts and our health and our body. As a matter of fact, it is undeniable. The state of your mind has a lot to do with your body and your fitness level. So anytime I make that statement in forum like these, I remember a particular time someone asked, well, Ken, what about the folks who had no choice into being how they are? They were born that way. What about somebody who have a particular disease and it was not their fault? And I said to them, you're right. And I tell them this. I said, I have walked this life, I have gone through many challenges, and these two principles that I've learned that have revolutionized my life and how I approach life. And it is this. We must first recognize clearly what are the things that we don't have control over. I want to say that again, and I wish I can watch everybody in the eye. The more that we recognize the things in life that we don't have control over, we worry less. We stress less. The depression that we face would be less. We won't waste our focus and our energy on things that we simply don't have control over. You don't have control over that. How many of us are totally bogged down, stressed, because we're worrying about things that are outside of our control? So if we take our time to look to say, listen, I don't have control over this, it will eliminate 3/4 of our problems. So that's the first thing that we all should learn. And I said, secondly, what we should learn or to figure out is, what can I do? I don't have control over the situation. I don't have control over what people do. People complain, oh gosh, where's the minimum wage? I need this, I need that. You don't have control over how people drive on the road, but there's something called defensive driving. So because people have died in road accidents, it will cause you to stop driving on the nation's roadways? No. You have responsibility in your vehicle behind that steering wheel. And that is how we should approach our lives. So our discourse today is about taking responsibility of our health and our wellness. So asking ourselves, what can we do to ensure that we are healthy and strong for as long as possible? It is not the responsibility of the government to ensure that you're healthy. As a matter of fact, today on the radio, because I work on the morning drive, Vibe City 105 FM, and a script was given to me, a very popular pizza place. They have all you can eat on a Sunday, and young children eat free, and a picture of soft drink, small money. I wouldn't want to say the details because when they hear the ad, they say, aha, it's them. I don't even want to mention it. And there are people in marketing that are doing what they can to vie for your attention to consume, but are you considering the results of consuming that? And for children, we all have a choice. So it is important for us to recognize that we have the responsibility to take care of our own health and wellness. So when I think about, anybody know a lady by the name of Helen Keller? Blind and deaf. You may say, well, she's at a disadvantage, but she was regarded as one of the most influential people of the 20th century. Because who we are fundamentally is not this physical body that you're seeing. You are seeing my physical body, you are identifying me as Ken Simmons, but who I am goes greater than that. God has given us gifts and talents, and I have made up in my mind, I said I am going to figure out how best that I can live not just a fulfilled and purposeful life, but also a life that is meaningful and that I would pass on the things that I have learned to the next generation. So Helen Keller is one example that despite of your disabilities, you can still achieve. So physically, people would have counted out. But you know what? She rose to the occasion, and her name is remembered and talked about even in this forum because of her mindset and her mentality. Second, that is international. What about local? All right. Vera Bagano, remember that young lady? No arms, attorney. There are people who have arms and legs, good living, and didn't achieve that. In an interview I heard her, she said, you know what? Somebody asked her, do you think that having no arms is disadvantage to learn? And she said, no, that's not a disadvantage to learn. As a matter of fact, it inspired me to work harder. And that is what it should do. It should inspire us to work harder. Now give me about 8 more minutes and I'll be out of your way. I promise. I know speakers always say that. Right? Napoleon Hill. Now I'm a reader, so I'm quoting a lot of speakers. I'm a reader. The reason why I'm able to articulate myself in this manner with confidence is because I read. I wasn't big on reading, but I understand the importance of reading. And Napoleon Hill, in his book, Think and Grow Rich. Anybody ever read that book or know about that book? Yes, fantastic book. He says, nobody does anything without giving them an adequate motive. What drives us? The motives that drives us. So if we have the right motive, we would do what we need to do. And sometimes you would wonder, why is it that someone will know what to do and don't do it? Why is it that way? Why is it that we know what we should do and then we don't do it? Anybody can answer that question? Can we what less? Can we do? Huh? Because our motives is not strong enough and we probably don't understand fully the consequences of our actions. Usually, to get into a fitness regime, someone has to be motivated by fear because a doctor has diagnosed them with a chronic disease and the doctor tells them if you don't do what you need to do, you're going to die or you're going to lose this limb. So all of a sudden, that person who found it difficult to get into a fitness regime, if you see them around the savannah, right? And they're eating right? But it's the right motive. If I were to tell you, if you were to smoke one more cigarette, you will die. You know that you will die, you will stop it. Right? If you know, you pull one pull again, you fall down there, you would stop. You see, the things that we do on a daily basis, you may not see it instantaneously, but it is harming you more than you know. Why is it that we don't leave the house without brushing our teeth? At least I hope everybody here brushes their teeth before they leave the house. I just hope so. Right? Obey. You know why we don't do that? You know why? You're supposed to brush your teeth every day. Yes, you're supposed to brush your teeth. I know there's certain parts in the world they don't bathe every day, but that's another discussion another time. Right? Too cold, twice a week. But the reason why we do it is because instantaneously, if you don't do it, the effects people will know age. Right? It stinks. But not understanding that your body is meant to operate and function in a particular way. And the things that we do is holding us back from our fullest potential. So understanding is powerful. You know the good book says, wisdom is the principal thing, get wisdom, but in all our getting, get understanding. Okay? So I'm going to share with you a few things that hopefully that you would remember it and that you would apply it, because it would not benefit if we're just hearers and we don't apply and we don't do. Okay? And I know I am in the presence of men and women who are experts in their field. And you would need that energy, and you would need to have optimum health, especially as men. As we get older, we need to take care of ourselves. I know I'm not dealing with men, but my specialty is to chat to my brothers in relation to the importance of our health and wellness. Because blood flow is our best friend. Somebody say yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Forget to say yeah, yeah. Say yeah, yeah. The ladies want to yeah, yeah. You're like, oh, all right, let me give this up. Oh, they invite me back, right? So let me share with you a few things that hopefully it will stick with you. So I'm not going to give you a task, but a DASK. DASK. So that's the acronym. All right. So I try to put together terms that it will be easily understandable, yes, but of course you could remember it quicker. All right. We need to begin to do some deliberate and conscious thinking about ways to improve our health and overall well-being. That's what we need to do. To take full responsibility for our health. And the first stage in doing that is D. We need to be displeased. That's a light word, displeased. Or I like the term get disgusted with our present health condition. We need to be disgusted. You know when there's a sense of disgust, oh gosh, somebody's like, I can't stand. Right? That's what we need to get. We need to be disgusted in how our body functions. Because if we just, sometimes we rolling in the car and we don't pay no mind, right? I used to say that sometimes the ladies don't check water and oil and them kind of thing, but that'll happen. More ladies do that, right? They check the oil in the car and the water. They'll see that the car need water every morning, you always do that, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be Ken, when you say it, you're the woman, you know what I mean? Right? Yeah, so everybody do that from time to time. So they're not just women. So they know their place. Right, ladies? Say yeah. Right? But sometimes we're driving not unaware that something is happening in the engine, so we're not taking care, and all of a sudden it's like, oh gosh, they got a heart attack. What's going on? Because you're not taking care of yourself. So you have to be disgusted with your present health condition to do something. So D. And A is ask. So when you become disgusted, displeased about your present functioning of your body, health and wellness, you need to begin to ask certain questions. What can I do to change how I feel? Asking the right questions to yourself makes a whole heap of difference. You know that? When we ask certain questions, what can I do to change the way how I feel and function and look? What are the foods that I need to consume on a daily basis? What do I need to stop doing that's worsening my health condition? What do I ask the right questions? And when we begin to ask, the Bible says, ask and you shall what? Receive. You need to ask. Which means, he says seek as well. And that's my next point. We need to seek. Look for practical options that can work with your present responsibilities. I know I'm speaking to a group of people. Say, Ken, you only talking that because you have time on your hand. You're working for 3 hours on the radio. But you wouldn't believe how productive I am. There are many things that I do throughout the course of the day. And before I get up and do anything, I serve myself first. I have to be in the radio station for at least 5:45. Sometimes 10 to, sometimes just go skating, right, before the news. But I have a morning routine. I'm going to share with you that in a short while. So you need to seek. Look for practical options that can work with your present responsibilities. Adjustments will have to be made. No more excuses. Sacrifice is a necessity, but it will be worth it in the long run. So you say, what is the lies that we tell ourselves? Boy, I had time. I'm too busy. But we're never too busy to brush our teeth. I'll be on that, because we don't need to floss and brush your teeth, right? If you had to do 10 minutes before you go and take a shower, do all the push-ups, little sit-ups. How many times we scroll on social media? Just find the time. Make certain adjustments. But you know what? Remember, you're disgusted about your situation, so something has to take place. You're asking certain questions. You're asking yourself, what can I do to ensure that I have optimum health? And then you're seeking and looking for practical options that will suit your particular schedule. Seek, and then knock. What is knocking? You got to load up the matic. No, I just joking. Alright? Couldn't help myself. Right? Take action. Take action. Knock. Find an activity. Listen, practical ways. I'm almost done. Find an activity that you believe you can commit to. Because sometimes one activity may not fit the other. So find an activity that you can commit to. You may have to try out several options before you find one or two that may be best fitted for you. Just don't stop knocking. And knock it again. And knock again. When you're from that activity, stay with it. Build momentum. And before you know it, the habit will form. And this is what we're going to get to. Because we are creatures of habit. Healthy habits bring about a healthy body. And how do we form habits? Habits are formed by two ways. By impressing the subconscious mind, which is more impressionable, and your brain is in a theta brainwave state before we go to sleep and when we now get up. So once you feed your mind with certain information that you want to achieve and you want to manifest in your life, you impress your subconscious mind at those times when your brain is in a theta brainwave state. But the more widely way of building habits is repetition, over and over and over again. And once the motive is strong enough, you're going to keep at it. And eventually, once you start to see the results, you are going to get the health and wellness that you're looking for. As I close, this is the principle that I share with all of my clients. It's called the binum effect. So the DASK, don't forget, disgusted, ask, seek, knock. Binum principle, B-I-N-E-M. What does that mean? B stands for breathing. I tell all my clients it's breathing. We can go without food for about 3 months. Probably water for about how many? 3 days? Thereabout? We can't go without breathing for more than 3 minutes. As a matter of fact, they say at 4 minutes, if oxygen is not in your brain, it's permanent brain damage. Breath is very, very important. And the reason why we have so much anxiety and stress because we breathe through our chest. That's why during the pandemic, when I was talking to my clients and other people, I said, we have to wear our mask, but ever so often take deep breaths, belly breathing. Because with all these things that is happening, and we shallow breathe in, we're inducing stress on ourselves. So deep breathing is very, very important. Breath work is extremely important. I wish I could delve into each one of them, but I don't have the time. I stands for intermittent fasting. Now, in relation to intermittent fasting, if you have diabetes, I would not recommend that. But of course, this is not a discourse for that. But fasting on the whole helps you greatly. One of the main benefits of fasting is cell rejuvenation. So always remember this, healthy cells in the body equals a healthy body. And for me, I don't eat my first meal just about 12 to 1 o'clock in the day. As a matter of fact, today, especially when I have to speak, whether small, medium, or large crowd, I function better with an empty stomach because blood is not working on my digestive system. So all this is channeled in my brain. So fasting helps. So you're dead? No. I have more energy when I fast. I'm sharp when I'm fasting. Nutrition is important. Breathing, intermittent fasting, nutrition, what to eat, how to eat, when to eat it. What are some of the things that people say it's good for you and it's not good for you? Oh, just almost 5 years now, I'm a pescatarian. I don't eat the DNA of chicken and beef and all that. I'm not knocking anyone. I don't force anyone's beliefs on me. I'm just saying as a result, my cognitive function is on point My skin is better, don't mind the little beard and thing, you know, if you go close up, you're seeing it, you know what I mean? Have a little thing pause, but alright. But it's the best decision I've made in my life. I'm still strong, I'm still vibrant, and blood flowing. Somebody say yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I always say it, darling. Afterwards we go talk though. Exercise. Exercise is important. Different body types, 3 different body types, ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph, right? Not every exercise is suited for another individual, so of course you've got to know that, right? Oh, I hope you're all taking mental notes or notes, right? Because these things are powerful. Breathing, intermittent fasting, nutrition, exercise, and finally, morning routine. My morning routine is extremely important. So what do I do as soon as I get up? I got this from Steve Harvey. I have to credit the things that I'm doing, who I got it from. As soon as I'm aware that I am up, I begin to thank God. I say, thank you, Father. Thank you. I praise you. I'm joyful. And I begin to, and I start off the day with that sense of gratitude. What I do as well, I brush my teeth with my left hand. You see a brush and then you just set it up. Brush my teeth. I brush my teeth with my left hand. I'm a right-hander. Don't doubt what I'm saying this. And anything that I say, you all can go and research it, right? I brush my teeth with my left hand because it activates the other side of my brain. So I'm good if you check me now with this. Right? Yeah. Because you will want to activate the non-dominant hand in order to get your brain flowing and functioning properly. Because I work on the morning drive, just 10 minutes of meditation following your breath. It helps, you wouldn't believe. And I listen to classical music in the morning. Classical music. I heard an interview with Michael Jackson. He said that all that is what he listened to. Classical music day and night. And that's why, oh my God, because it does something with your pineal gland. The brain is a transmitter and a receiver of frequency. I need to leave, I really need to. I take cold showers. And those are some of the things that I do. And of course I drink, I make sure I hydrate myself, chlorophyll. So your morning routine, so what I do basically is I serve myself first, and then I'm able to serve with distinction. And I'm ready and energized to go. Alright? So let me leave you with this quote that I started off. It's from James Allen as well. It's from the same book as I close. He says, there is no physician like a cheerful thought of dissipating the ills of the body. There is no comforter to compare with the goodwill for dispersing the shadows of grief and sorrow. To live continually in thoughts of ill will, cynicism, suspicion and envy is to be confined in a self-made prison hole. But to think well of all, to be cheerful with all, to be patiently learn to find the good in all, such unselfish thoughts are the very portals of heaven. Every creature will bring abounding peace to their possessor. James Allen. As we work together, CariFin, your relation to your environment, your colleagues, your family, has a lot to do with your well-being and your state of mind and your health. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Let them talk all they want, I'm gonna reach for what is mine. Nobody gonna bring me down below, I'm gonna reach for what is mine. To the top of the mountain, I'm gonna reach. For hills and valleys too, I'm gonna reach. Making my dreams come true, I'm gonna reach. Yeah, I'm gonna reach. Whoa, I'm gonna reach. With every step I climb, I'm gonna reach. And God on my side, I'm gonna reach. I'm gonna touch the stars this time, I'm gonna reach. Yeah, I'm gonna reach. Whoa, I'm gonna reach. Long before I ever came into existence, my mother belly resting, this fetus was predestined to undergo many trials and testing to make sure when I step into this world I'll be a blessing. So move on to my way.